session. May I request the Honorable MP South Abdul Rahman to lead us in the invitation. Please rise. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا لنكون من الخاسرين. ربنا إنك سمعنا منادي للإيمان أن آمنوا بربكم فآمنا. ربنا فاغفر لنا فإنك أنت الغفور الرحيم وارحمنا فإنك خير الراحمين. اللهم إنا نسألك أن تعزنا وتنصر المسلمين في كل مكان، وأن تعلي بفضلك قلوب الحق والدين، وأن تحمي بعنايتك ورعايتك إخوان المجاهدين في فلسطين، وإخواننا المجاهدين في فلسطين، إخوان المجاهدين. ربنا اغفر علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على كل الكافرين والحمد لله. Sama berkoordinasi melanggar yang Bangsamoro.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, ewas ng sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit ng pangaw, ay hinatang tulad, awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang islang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan ang ay di magdidinig. Lumalang araw ng walang pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaya ng bantay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Simula noon hanggang ngayon, isa ang naging layon. Magkaisa at magulod, kalitingan ay marugtong. Mayo tayo mula sa hamon ng nakaraan, niyapos ang panganib na umanlang. Pinangako sa puso at paniniwala, ang ginhawa para sa kabataan. Bangsamoro ay tagumpay, bunga ng pawis, sugo at buhay. Kapayapaan, katarungan, ay atin ang nakamtan. Pagpalain Bangsamoro. Bangsamoro, Bangsamoro, lagi kang mamahalin. Walang pipigil sa damdamin, mga pangako'y tutuparin. Habang buhay kami sa'yo'y magbabantay, mananatili sa puso't isipan. Ang kahapong humimlay na nagbuwis ng buhay, nasa piling na ng may kapal. Bangsamoro ay tagumpay, bunga ng pawis, sugo at buhay. Kapayapaan, katarungan, ay atin ang
Please be seated. Secretary General, please read the roll. Roll call of the Honorable President of the Parliament. Abbas Ahmad, Abbas Harun, Abbas Qasim, Abu Mutin, Alamiya Laisa, Alauddin Musber, Ali Ibrahim, Ali Lalang Jr., Ali El, Ambulito Tuhato, Aminuddin Abdulaziz, Ambatuan Kautan, Aniatin Susana, Antaw Muhammad Kim, Al-Nadir Merkan, Asnawi Dan, Babawali Mutaha, Palinggulo Pangalian, Basmanahan Nakarahatan, Panday Baymayan, Bilangalan Hussein, Lumahal Shaglan, Ebrahim Ismail Rahman, Estivo Matarun, Gaya Abdul, Yera Edward, Haji Abdul Rahman, Hasif Abdul Rahman, Hasan Iqbal Mahal, Ismail Rasul, Jabir Raja, Gabila Muslimin, Jibril Al-Rabi, Pahalan Bernardo, Karel Faisal, Lim John Anthony, Lord Benjamin, Lord Mustafa, Lorena Hussein, Magkapaharap Dawan, Magkasalong Magdalong, Magatalong Amrochi, Maglangit Tarhatan, Naling Hali, Magtawin Bayan, Mastuwa Rashad, Matalang Jafar, Awal Bahar, Indra Roy, Nitimbang Michael, Nitimbang Tawakal, Miswari Abdul Karim, Miswari Nurreda, Mitmok Rasulullah, Mulim Sosin, Peralis Roy, Pakatan Lebayan, Pak Abdul Yahad, Pangandaman ng Pagkakita, Parkasi Ram, Yang Ramonsino, Ramos Jamita, Salenda Rasay, Salim Ad, Sanki Ad, Sema O Maria Ser, Sema Romeo, Suri Sayid, Sulaiman Aida, Sinuri Sulaiman Faisal, Usman Al-Sfar, Ulu Jasir, Muhammad Fahad, Yaqub Muhammad. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sir, we 45 members of the Parliament physically responded to the call. We therefore certify the presence of quorum, Mr. Speaker. Since we have certified by the Sergeant in the presence of a quorum, we can transact official business. Lord Leader.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My courtesies and respects to the Speaker, Attorney Pangalian Balindong, Presiding Officer, Deputy Speaker, Attorney Nabil Tan, Deputy Speakers, floor leaders, members of the Parliament, guests, visitors, staff, and Secretariat. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Mr. Speaker, I would like to move to amend the order of business to include as unfinished business the proposed resolutions that we have not finalized yesterday, Mr. Speaker, particularly proposed resolution number 424, entitled Resolution Urging the Office of the Chief Minister through the Bangsamoro Information Office to spearhead the printing and distribution of the priority codes, Mr. Speaker.
There's a motion to business for proposed resolution. So that
Another is proposed resolution number 4, entitled the resolution according for the end of hostilities against the civilian population of Palestine and allowing for their safe return to their homeland and the rehabilitation thereof, Mr. Speaker.
resolution proposed resolution to include the order of business. When by the motion.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
As a motion to include the resolution to in the order of business. Is there a second? Duly seconded. Action. And is available.
The same, Mr. Speaker, as unfinished business to include proposed resolution number 453 and the resolution equally condemning the continuing acts of violence against committed by Israel against the people of Palestine and by Hamas military group against the civilians of Israel, Mr. Speaker.
443. Proposed resolution for 3 is being moved to be included in the order of business. Is there a second? Duly seconded. Is there any objection? Chair is not, so Mr. Well, proceed.
Part of unfinished business, Mr. Speaker, I move that we include committee report number 18 entitled the resolution directing the Committee on Health to conduct an inquiry into legislation on the overall of Ministry of Health on the establishment and upgrading of hospitals, including its budget requirements from the Committee on Health, Mr. Speaker. I so move.
What is the committee report
Number 18
for approval?
for inclusion in the order of business, Mr. Speaker.
Number order of business. Second. There is no objection. There is not, so Mr. Well.
Next to be still part of the unfinished business, committee report number 42, entitled resolution requesting the Ministry of Health to establish a Food and Drug Administration or FDA regional field office in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao or BARM, Mr. Speaker, submitted by the Committee on Health. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
As a motion to include the resolution 318.
Committee report number 42.
Committee report number 42 submitted by the Committee on Health and order of business. Second. There is no objection. There is not, so Mr. Well.
Next to be part of the order of the unfinished business is committee report number 43. I move that this be included as in the order of business today, and the committee report number 43 entitled resolution urging the Ministry of Health to conduct a witness campaign on the health risks associated with the use and consumption of betel nut or mama in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, BARM, Mr. Speaker.
There's a motion to include proposed resolution 326.
Committee report number 43.
Committee report number 43. In the order of business. Is there second? You seconded the objection. There is not, so Mr. Well.
Finally, Mr. Speaker, I move that we include the order of business committee report number 48 on BTA Bill number 31 entitled an act creating the Bangsamoro Regional Institute for Higher Islamic Studies, repealing Muslim Mindanao Autonomy Act number 164, otherwise known as the Regional Madrasa Graduate Education Act of 2003, providing funds therefore and for other purposes, submitted by the Committee on Basic, Higher and Technical Education, Mr. Speaker. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
To be included in the order of business. There's a motion to include the committee report number 46 submitted by the Commission on Higher and Technical Education. Is there any second? Duly seconded. Is there any objection? Well, it's not, let me say that.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I now move to dispense with the reading of Journal number 20 for the September 19, 2023 session, Mr. Speaker.
There's a motion to consider the reading of Journal number 20. There's an objection. I let me second. Objection. There is none, so we say that.
Dated September 2023, subject to style, Mr. Speaker.
There's a motion to subject to style.
Speaker, with a reminder that these are privately membered bills and the requesting members of the Parliament to please fill in the forms provided to you if you wish to be co-authors, Mr. Speaker. May we request the Secretariat to please read the number, the title, the authors, and the co-authors sequentially, Mr. Speaker. Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Two five zero, 253, 254, 255. Yeah. Yes. BTA Parliament Bill number 451 entitled An Act establishing the Bangsamoro Administrative Register. Whereby sections 12 and 14 of the Bangsamoro Administrative Code, Bangsamoro number 13, and for other purposes. Authors, leaders, the Parliament, Tarhata Maglan, and Rato Pagkasyon. Co-authors, members of the Parliament, and the Legislature, have been committed sa kahalan, halong na residential, by that purpose, ang lahat, resolve, lifestyle, so,
entitled An Act mandating the creation of one special needs education SPED center per municipality, city in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. Author, Member of Parliament, Mahintan Natatuan. Co-authors, Members of the Parliament, Liza Lamia, Amir Bahar Mawali, Suharto Bulugdo, Don Mustafa Loong, Rasol Nikli Jr., Rasul Ismail, Tawakal Bitimbang, Japar Apollo Mikael Matala, Michael Bitimbang, Siti Fahani Uyoyot, Khalid Hajardawa, and Basir Uttu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, these are private member bills. So we invite those who wish to co-author to please simply accomplish the forms provided to you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now we move to resolutions, beginning with proposed resolution number 313. May we request the Secretariat to please read the title, the author, and the co-authors.
The Secretariat is directed to read proposed resolution 313 to include the title and the author.
Proposed resolution number 313 entitled Resolution calling on the government of the day through the Bangsamoro and other appropriate ministries and offices to conduct an annual pre-Ramadan symposium and produce appropriate modules for it to educate and remind the Bangsamoro people about the virtue of the holy month of Ramadan. Author, Member of the Parliament, Don Mustafa Loong. Co-authors, Members of the Parliament, Liza Alamia, Baintana Patuan, Rasul Ditbud Jr., Amil Bahar Mawalin, Suharto Maguto, Rasul Ismail, Benjamin Loong, Japara Polo Mikay Matalam, Abdul Karim Iswari, Jose Lorena, Abdul Aziz Aminuddin, Jamila Ramos, Ajfar Usman, Muhammad Keri Antao, Eddie Ali, Tawakal Timbang, Mujib Abu, Suwaib Uranon, Basir Uto, Bay Baleha Kandao, Michael Timbang, Dan Asnawi, and Mosber Alaudin.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we treat proposed resolution number 313 as a simple resolution, Mr. Speaker.
There's a motion to treat proposed resolution 313 as a simple resolution. Is there any second? Duly seconded. Is there any objection? Chair hears none. Same is hereby approved.
Mr. Speaker, before we invite the principal author for his authorship speech, may we remind everyone to please fill in the interpellation request form so that we are guided whether there is any interpellation on this, Mr. Speaker. May we recognize MP Don Mustafa Loong.
The Honorable MP from Sulu, the MP Don Loong is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, colleagues, this resolution number 313 is in line with the most awaited and highly anticipated events in the Islamic Hijrah calendar, where we observe the holy month of Ramadan. So the ultimate objective is to strengthen the devotion, and we propose that the agencies concerned conduct the public seminar series to be able to expound more on the topics related to Ramadan. And this is vital because we believe that many of our population are not being reached by these kinds of
seminar, and many also are not able to attend madrasa education, and so we believe that this kind of forum will be able to assist, and it's very relevant during the month of Ramadan. And the concerned agencies like the Darul Ifta is one of those that are key in doing this. Mr. Speaker. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now move to open the period of interpellations and debate.
There is now a motion to open the period of interpellation and debate. Duly seconded. Is there any objection? Chair hears none. Same is hereby approved. The period of interpellation and debate is now open.
We start with recognizing Mr. Speaker, and I so move to recognize MP Abdullah Hashim.
MP Abdullah Hashim from Maguindanao is recognized. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ba'd. At the outset, Mr. Speaker, I would like to show my support. Actually, I support any endeavor that allows the Muslims to practice the religion properly, Mr. Speaker. My question, Mr. Speaker, is firstly, has the honorable proponent consulted with the Bangsamoro Darul Ifta and other relevant agencies before or during the process of drafting this resolution?
Mr. Speaker, we base this from the experience in other areas in the islands where we believe that more kinds of symposiums like this should be organized, and where other appropriate ministries also take part, especially as we approach the month of Ramadan. While we understand that the Darul Ifta is already conducting some annual pre-Ramadan symposia, this resolution is calling on the Darul Ifta and other appropriate ministries to continue to expand the coverage of these kinds of activities.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was about to raise that question and actually raise a bit of awareness that the Darul Ifta are actually conducting some activities. Mr. Speaker, I would like to point my attention to a whereas clause on the second page that whereas to perform such noble acts of worship, it would be beneficial at the start of Ramadan for every Muslim believer, men and women, young and old, to know and be reminded of the obligatory duties, highly recommended deeds, and other permissible acts to be performed during this holy Ramadan. Actually, Mr. Speaker, I support the intention of this provision because we really want for the Muslims to be more educated about the rulings, the permissible, impermissible, and even the recommended acts during Ramadan. And this is actually even the scholars, this happens on a yearly basis before Ramadan. The du'at, the callers to Islam, would usually change their lessons, their lecture sermons to be more attuned with the topics of Ramadan. So if we were able to perhaps institutionalize this through the Darul Ifta perhaps and other agencies, especially the Darul Ifta, it's their mandate, then I think this will be beneficial. Mr. Speaker, my second question is the proponent aware of these various activities that the Darul Ifta is conducting every Ramadan or even before, just before Ramadan?
Mr. Speaker, I am aware. In fact, I think especially here in Cotabato, their activities are very clear and widespread. Although this resolution will call for the more spread out activities in all the provinces, including the islands, as well as this calls for the utilization of all the mechanisms, including information technology, to reach out a wider audience, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the title, Mr. Speaker, it is mentioned and other appropriate ministries. Can the honorable proponent give an example of a possible way that other ministries other than the Darulifta, the Bangsamoro Darulifta, to aid in this the intent of this resolution? Mr. Speaker, as we know, the regular ministries are the one really with the presence on the provinces and districts. So the Darulifta can only do so much. So if they can work together with agencies like the Ministry of Basic MBHTE and other agencies, because they are the one with large conference hall with the students. So if they can work together, I think it will be more effective, especially this is also in line with our moral governance advocacy, and it is best to optimize the period of the coming of Ramadan to instill these values. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is mentioned here, as also in the title, that we should produce appropriate modules. Mr. Speaker, does this entail funds or budget, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, I think the modules can be part of the regular program of the Darul Ifta, and it will just take the form of a guide as we go through these pre-Ramadan symposiums and seminars, Mr. Speaker. So it is not really a comprehensive module, but I think it can already be included in the regular programs of the Darul Ifta. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is the good gentleman, the honorable proponent, aware of what are the budget that is allocated to Bangsamoro Darul Ifta that they could use for the purposes of this resolution, and has the honorable proponent perhaps talked with the Bangsamoro Darul Ifta about this matter? Mr. Speaker, that is why we intentionally passed this very early. In fact, Ramadan is still coming next year, but that's why we are pushing for this resolution early, because if this resolution is passed early on, then it can be a basis of the Darul Ifta as we tackle the budget for 2024. So they can already program a more comprehensive Ramadan information campaigns and symposium if we provide them our resolutions such as this. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That will be all.
Next to interpolate, Mr. Speaker, is Deputy Speaker Paisalin Tago.
The Deputy Speaker, Paisalin Tago of Lanao del Sur, is recognized.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Similarly, Mr. Speaker, for the record, anything that finance the Islamic religion, I am very supportive, Mr. Speaker. I just want to make any clarification from the resolution, Mr. Speaker, if the proponent of this resolution is willing to answer some clarificatory questions. Gladly, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. As a matter of fact, it was answered a while ago, because the question first is the government of the Darul Ifta have been conducting Ramadan activities before,
That's why this resolution was passed. Is that the purpose of this resolution, Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, this resolution is to support. It's a policy initiative to strengthen the support to the Bangsamoro Darulifta to be able to expand and increase its annual pre-Ramadan symposium with the appropriate modules to educate and remind the Bangsamoro people about the virtues of the holy month of Ramadan, which, as I said again, at the core of it is our thrust of moral governance and virtues that is required of a Muslim. So this resolution intends to solidify and strengthen the policy support towards having these kinds of activities, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It was mentioned a while ago, Mr. Speaker, by the proponent that in province of Sulu, the symposium or the Ramadan activities were not filled.
No, it is not, Mr. Speaker, but it can be increased. So what we're looking at, Mr. Speaker, is that the Darul Ifta, similar to the experience in Singapore, Mr. Speaker, the religious affairs of Singapore are able to coordinate well and develop modules for all their mosques in Singapore so that they have developed topics, developed programs. So that's why the module is important. And then number two, to increase the other appropriate ministries. So imagine if we have the MOTC, the MDHTE, MOH, MILG, all working together in the pre-Ramadan symposiums so that the MDHTE has the conference hall, the Darul Ifta has the lecturer, and the other agencies can support one another. So this is to promote synergy of all agencies, as well as if, for example, the MOTC will conduct a pre-Ramadan symposium, then the Darul Ifta will have the appropriate modules and speakers to assign even as far as Tawi-Tawi and Basilan and other areas, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. May I know, Mr. Speaker, if the proponent is aware in Sulu, in the province of Sulu, if there is a provincial Darul Ifta?
I'm sure there is the provincial Darul Ifta, Mr. Speaker, and they have their own activities. But then each one is working in silos, Mr. Speaker. The Darul Ifta is sometimes left to work on its own and not in collaboration with other ministries. So with this resolution, Mr. Speaker, this will promote partnership of the Darul Ifta with all the ministries of the Bangsamoro so that the reach is larger, Mr. Speaker.
So meaning, Mr. Speaker, as I understand it from the proponent, the purpose of this resolution is that there should be a collaboration, not only with the Darul Ifta, but all other ministries in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao in order to enlarge the coverage of this so-called symposium, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
So you mention these appropriate ministries in BHT, MOTC, and local government?
Because each one, Mr. Speaker, I think during Ramadan, all the ministries, in fact, even the LGUs conduct their own Ramadan symposium. So what is key here is that as the Darul Ifta expands its coverage, then it is able to partner with LGUs, ministries, because, for example, the Bangsamoro Youth Commission, Cultural Commission, they too have their own activities. So by having this resolution, Mr. Speaker, then we should have more to expand the coverage of this pre-Ramadan symposiums, Mr. Speaker. And the module actually here, Mr. Speaker, is also relevant because if we can prioritize what the Darul Ifta would think is important to reach the communities, then those key topics then will be prioritized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question, Mr. Speaker, is why it was singled out pre-Ramadan? Why not during Ramadan or post-Ramadan? Why only used before Ramadan? Because Islamic activity or religious activity is a daily affairs, not only before Ramadan, during Ramadan, or after Ramadan, but it is a daily affairs. Why it was singled out the Ramadan? What's the idea, Mr. Speaker?
Well, Mr. Speaker, we noticed that during the Ramadan time, where actually a lot of people are actually very busy already. At night, the whole night is tarawih session, and a lot of people are fasting. Although this can still be done, it does not preclude the symposiums during the Ramadan, but usually we conduct this at least 2 months to a month prior to the Ramadan. Why is this important? Because it is appropriate that as we enter the first day of Ramadan, most of our fellow men have been reminded already of what are the important aspects of Ramadan that they should remember.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, with your respect to the proponent, in Lanao, it is my experience, pag Ramadan, doon nagkakandak ng mga symposium kasi pang-kwan ba ng oras, Mr. Speaker. Pangalawa, in that symposium, ang sabi nga nila ng mga ulama, yung baraka, what was stated during the symposium na mga Islamic teaching, man naging multiple yung baraka niya. So, mas maganda kasi pag-pray before Ramadan, konti yung nag-attend. But if it is Ramadan, Mr. Speaker, in our prayers in Lano del Sur, doon nagkakandak ng mga Islamic symposium, Mr. Speaker. So, if the gentleman is willing to accept any amendments,
yes, Mr. Speaker.
Amendments. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, I will go to the modules because, Mr. Speaker, the proponent said there should be an appropriate modules. In
Session suspended for 2 minutes.
We will now do the asar break. You can come back after 20 minutes.
issues.
Mr.
Yes,
Mr. Speaker.
what's the pleasure of the majority of the floor leader?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just to report on the parliamentary status of the proposed resolution, we are in the period of interpellations and debate, Mr. Speaker. And next to interpellate is Member of the Parliament, Ali Montaha Babaw.
Member of Parliament Ali Montalvo is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, Madam Floor Leader. Before I will proceed with what I intend to say, my comment on this proposed resolution, I would like to register my support. However, allow me to raise some questions about this very important resolution. First, para mabilis ang aking sasabihin, I would like to ask the proponent if this proposed symposium, pre-Ramadan symposium, will entail expenses to the Darul Iftar. Mayroon ba tayong gagasusin pera dito? By the Darul Iftar?
The proponent may answer the clarificatory question.
Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, I believe that the Darul Iftar is already organizing activities like this in the present state, but through this resolution, it can be interpreted as a policy by the Parliament and the Bangsamoro government to promote these kinds of activities. So, there are two aspects. Number one, the budget, and number two, collaboration with other agencies, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, definitely when you conduct symposium, organize seminars or symposium in the 6 provinces of BAM, definitely this will entail expenses, additional expenses. Dahil hindi naman libre lahat ang pupuntang gasolina ngayon. You will go to places, you will be required to use vehicles to provide foods, merienda, snacks, etc., etc. So, Mr. Speaker, are we aware of the constitutional provision saying or prohibiting the use of money, government money, for religious purposes, Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, we believe that this does not run contrary to that, Mr. Speaker, because even in the regular schools, we have the value formation. We believe that Islam is a way of life and includes all the values and virtues. And by having the pre-Ramadan symposium, we are emphasizing the values and virtues, which is important of a citizen, Mr. Speaker. So it has already been seen in other cases, such as the Hajj, for example. These are religious activities, but the assistance to it is not interpreted as such. And so these pre-Ramadan symposiums are symposiums that are aimed in strengthening the values and character and moral governance of the people in the Bangsamoro. And so we do not see anything contrary to that. And number two, Mr. Speaker, in the pre-Ramadan and during the Ramadan, Muslims usually volunteer to sponsor such activities. So what is important is that the Darul Ifta
is able to develop modules, is able to develop speakers, it's able to coordinate with other agencies so that the pre-Ramadan symposium is not only conducted, but it is conducted with quality, with substance, and with collaboration with other agencies.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, because in my, as stated by Minister Tago, in the province of Lanao del Sur, even before, months before Ramadan will arrive, there are symposiums, there are informations disseminated to everywhere in the masjid, or even the prime media, meaning in the television, radio, and explaining to them the virtues, the benefits of observing fasting during the month of Ramadan. There is no point of argument about that, Mr. Speaker. What I'm saying is, even if we do not pass this resolution, Mr. Speaker, although I'm supporting it, but still, the ulama, even in schools, as mentioned by the proponent, Mr. Speaker, they are taught about Arabic, Islamic studies. It is accepted in our national, by national law. So what I'm saying here, Mr. Speaker, is that why do we have to, because definitely we will be allocating funding for this in promoting or conducting seminar or symposium, etc., going in places. Darul Ifta will not just cannot perform this function without providing him the appropriate funding to do this. But as I said, Mr. Speaker, I'm very supportive of this resolution. But my only question is, why only Ramadan? There are 5 pillars of Islam: the Shahada, and then the Sambayan, and then we have the Hajj. We have the Zakat, and the observance fasting during the month of Ramadan. So why only centered on Ramadan? If we can pass a resolution or even a bill or even an act, a law that will promote strengthening the 5 pillars of Islam, why only one among the 5 pillars of Islam, Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, I agree that there should be more resolutions and bills to that effect. And we hope some of our colleagues can sponsor that. But meanwhile, maybe we can start with this pre-Ramadan and Ramadan symposium to start, Mr. Speaker.
So anyway, that's all for me, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much. And I would like to congratulate the proponent of this resolution, Mr. Speaker, for sponsoring this resolution. But I would like to suggest to him in the near future, because he made mention about sponsoring another resolutions, to meet also the 4 mandated pillars of Islam. Baka sana pwede sa susunod mag-sponsor din siya ng resolution para dito sa 5. Maraming thank you. Maraming salamat po. Sabi ni floor leader, pwede rin daw siya ang mag-sponsor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Interpreter.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, with this, I move to terminate the period of interpellation and debate.
There is a motion to terminate the interpellation. Duly seconded, there will be no objection. The same is hereby approved.
Mr. Speaker, there being no proposed amendments.
May amendments ako kailangan ko. Kasi yung pre at saka yung kwan, alisin na lang yung pre. Pre yan during Ramadan.
We accept, Mr. Speaker. Ramadan and Ramadan symposium.
Pre and Ramadan symposium.
Pre-Ramadan and Ramadan.
Okay.
So yes, we will amend the title to conduct the annual pre-Ramadan and Ramadan Symposium.
Okay, so Mr. Speaker, may I formally open the period of amendment to accommodate the amendment of the proponent, Mr. Speaker?
Yes,
I move to open the period of amendment.
there is a motion to open the period of amendment. Unisikandi, there being no objection, the same should be approved.
Mr. Speaker, now that we have heard from the proponent and it has already been reflected in the document, Mr. Speaker, I move to terminate the period of amendments, Mr. Speaker.
There is a motion to terminate the period of amendment with no objection, Unisikandi, the approval, the same should be approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve proposed resolution number 313 as amended and subject to style.
Yes, there's a motion to approve proposed amendment to
3.
3. With amendment subject to style, Unisikandi, will be lodged in the same should be approved. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We now move, Mr. Speaker, to proposed resolution number 316. May we request the Secretariat to please read the title, the author, and the co-authors?
The Secretariat is directed to read proposed resolution 316.
Proposed resolution number 316 entitled a resolution urging the strict implementation of the Republic Act number 8485, otherwise known as the Animal Welfare Act, as amended, encouraging the advocacy of stray animal adoption program in the Bangsamoro authors, members of the Parliament, Don Mustapado. Co-authors, members of the Parliament, Larissa Lenta, Maita Napatihan, Rizal, so after the resolution my Jose Lorena, Alexis Jamila Ramos, Alsparus Mad, Muhammad Ken at Tao, Tao,
Mr. Speaker, I move that we refer proposed resolution 316 to the Committee on Agriculture, Fisheries, and Agrarian Reform.
There is a motion to refer proposed resolution number 316 to the Committee on Agriculture and Agrarian Reform. Secondly, the objection to see Mr. Bayapon.
Mr. Speaker, is proposed resolution number 394. May we request the Secretariat to please read the title, the author, and the co-authors? Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Please.
We are directing the Secretariat to read proposed resolution number 394. Proposed resolution number 394, resolution combining the Bangsamoro officials and to observe carefully the condition of circular number 20-2017 updated guidelines for the prevention of disallowance of irregular, unnecessary, excessive, extravagant, and unquestionable expenditures. Author by the Parliament by that of the Parliament. Co-authors, members of the Parliament, alongside of so after the Mr. President, is my
Mr. Speaker, I move that we refer proposed resolution 394 to the Committee on Rules.
Yes, a motion to refer proposed resolution number 394 to the Committee on Rules. Duly seconded, there being no objection, this is approved.
Next, Mr. Speaker, is proposed resolution number 414. May we request that this be read together with proposed resolution number 419 as they speak of the same subject matter, Mr. Speaker.
The Secretariat is directed to read proposed resolution number 414 in relation to proposed resolution 419 as they are the same subject matter.
Proposed resolution number 414 titled Resolution Congratulating and Commending Ms. Aisha Ambor Gandambra, remarkable achievement in silver medal in the Hong Kong International Mathematical Olympiad. Final round 2023 people. Author member of Parliament, Jabita Ramos. Proposed resolution number 419 titled Resolution congratulating the Bangsamoro representatives for an outstanding achievement in Thailand International Mathematical Olympiad. Final round 2022 to 2023 and Hong Kong International Mathematical Olympiad. Final round 2023. Authors, members of the Parliament, Suharto Ismail, Odaira Pakasan, Matarol Estino, Mariano Makasalong, Raisa Jadjuri, Anna Tarhata Basman. Co-authors, members of the Parliament, Tawakal Bituba, Najib Mosber Alaudin, Eddie Ali, Muhammad Kiri Antaw, Susana Nayatin, Khalid Haji Abdullah, Kadir Sinilin Jr., and Ramon Piang Sr.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consolidate proposed resolution number 414 and proposed resolution number 419.
So, sa motion to consolidate the proposed resolution 414 and 419, duly seconded, there will be no objection. The same is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we treat the consolidated resolutions as simple resolution, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, a motion to treat the consolidated resolution as simple resolution. Duly seconded, there will be no objection. The same is approved.
May we recognize one of the principal authors of proposed resolution 419, member of the Parliament, Suharto Ismail.
MP Suharto Ismail is duly recognized.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على ما لا نبي بعده أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. For the Speaker, Madam Florida, fellow members of the Parliament, staff and guests, a pleasant afternoon to each of you. Today I am privileged and honored to stand here before you all as one of the authors of the proposed resolution number 419 entitled A Resolution Congratulating and Commending the Young Bangsamoro Representative for an Outstanding Achievement in Thailand International Mathematical Olympiad, Timor Final Round 2022 to 2023, and Hong Kong International Mathematical Olympiad, HKIMO Final Round 2023. Thereby bringing pride and honor to the Bangsamoro people. We are here not just to recognize the achievement of the Bangsamoro students, but also to give due regards to our values and moral which these methods exemplify, like discipline, enthusiasm for learning as evidence to their achievements. In essence, both Timor and HKIMO is an annual international competition for the purpose of stimulating and fostering young people's interest in learning mathematics, strengthen their ability to think creatively, widen the international perspective, and promote the development of primary and secondary education, and exchange of educational cultures throughout the global community. Both examinations are consisting of 5 main topics: logical thinking, arithmetic or algebra, number theory, geometric, and combinatorics. Timor and HKIMO final gold award winners are then eligible for BMO or World International Mathematics Olympiad, along with a free Olympiad training workshop. BMO is the World Championship Mathematics competition and is held annually. Consequently, in our quest to nurture the exceptional talents within the Bangsamoro community, we found that recognizing achievements serve as a catalyst for personal growth and academic excellence. By acknowledging the hard work and dedication of our young minds, we inspire them to reach new heights and unlock their full potential. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the Parliament, Be it known that though these mathematical Olympiad medalists are from BARM, there are representative of schools outside of BARM in the town in the two Olympiads. May this be a serious challenge to all of us to ensure the quality education or quality educational institution be made accessible within the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. As few weeks ago, the BTA Parliament approved number 37 establishing the Bangsamoro Science High School system in the region. This aims to make our educational system globally competitive in the field of science. We are proud to see our young students excelling in their own quest of excellence in international competition. But we would be more proud to see them representing our own established education institution in the region. Our aim is to recognize the achievement of students in BARM and motivate them to shine in their respective fields. To the young Bangsamoro students who receive honors, awards, and distinction from TINO and HKIMO, I say Alhamdulillah, 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 well done. May Allah make you one of our good leaders in the future. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There being no, okay, I move to open the period of interpellation and debate.
There's a motion to open the period of interpellation. Municipality, by no objection, this is a record.
May we recognize MP Don Long.
MP Don Long is duly recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to commend the authors for this very important resolution. I know how hard the Math Olympiads have to compete. I would just like to express that maybe there was a typo in the name of Alan Mamoto, who is a 13-year-old instead of 3 years old in the second page of the resolution.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I think that is also a technical error.
That is all, Mr. Speaker, and I support the resolution.
Thank you very much.
I now move to terminate the period of interpellation and debate, Mr. Speaker.
There is a motion to terminate interpellation and debate. Municipality, Mr. Bayapon.
I also move to dispense with the period of amendments, Mr. Speaker, subject to that correction on the age of Mr. Mamotok, Mr. Speaker.
There is a
dispense, motion to dispense.
There is a motion to dispense with the period of comment subject to the clerical or typographical error. As mentioned earlier, will be
Mr. Speaker, ano yan? Amendment? Okay. So, Mr. Speaker.
The dispensation of the Parliament as presented is now closed.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Yes, Mr. Speaker. 13 years of age daughter.
Yes.
Yes.
Secretary, take note of the typographical or clerical error.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before I move to approve, let us recognize, Mr. Speaker, MP Babaw.
MP Babaw is there is a motion that include the members of the Parliament who are present as co-authors of the proposed resolution. Will be accepted by the proponents?
Yes, definitely, Mr. Speaker.
Will be accepted by the proponents? There will be no objection. The same, Mr. Bayapon. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Thank you very much, Mr.
Hello?
Hello.
Nawala.
Let's go approve.
1 minute suspension, Mr. Speaker.
You know, hello. Test mic 1, 2, 3. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, meron.
Okay, meron.
Hello.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now move to approve the consolidated resolution 414 and 419, subject to the amendment, Mr. Speaker, and subject to style.
There's a motion to approve the resolution subject clerical and subject to style. There will be no objection. This is approved.
Now we move to proposed resolution 416. Mr. Speaker, may we request the Secretariat to please read the title, the author, and the co-authors.
The Secretariat is directed to read the proposed resolution. Proposed resolution number 416 entitled Resolution urging the Bangsamoro government through the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Agrarian Reform to join the celebration or commemoration of the World Rabi's Day on September 20 each year and to conduct community programs related thereto. Authors, members of the Parliament, Hasimi Barangalan, Khalid Sinjun, Khalid Haji Abdullah. Co-authors, members of the Parliament, Amir Bahar Mawali, Hamid Malik, John Anthony Levy, Russell Martino, Nabil Ban, Sohar Dasman, Muhammad Kintan, Mustafa Lohan, Alim Kahadan, Hawakan Liban, Mujur Adi, Sohar Baran, Basir Putu, Yalian Antan, Arhatan Ablan, and Hansal Karim.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we refer proposed resolution number 416 to the Committee on Agriculture, Fisheries, and Agrarian Reform.
This motion to refer proposed resolution number 416 to the Committee on Agriculture, Fisheries, and Agrarian Reform. Yung seconded, there will be no objection. The same is available.
We move to proposed resolution number 423. Mr. Speaker, may we request the Secretariat to please read the title, the authors, and the co-authors.
The Secretariat is directed to read proposed resolution number 423. Proposed resolution number 422, resolution urging the Bangsamoro government in the creation of anti-nutrition task force. Kilawin Bangsamoro procedure. Authors, members of Parliament, Khalid Sinjun, and Ali. Co-authors, members of Parliament, Masber, Sohar, Society, Muhammad Kintan, Man Asnawi, Malina Kambal, Alita Abad, Hasimi Barangalan, Al-Akhir,
I move that we refer proposed resolution number 423 to the Committee on Health.
There is a motion to refer proposed resolution number 423 to the Committee on Health. When is seconded, there will be no objection. The same is approved.
Mr. Speaker, may I modify, Mr. Speaker, and add the referral to the Committee on Local Government. So aside from Committee on Health, jointly with the Committee on Local Government.
There is a modification on the motion, not only to refer it to the Committee on Health, but to the Committee on Local Government. Then we know the same is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We move to proposed resolution number 426. May we request the Secretariat to please read the title, the author, and the co-authors.
The Secretariat is directed to read proposed resolution number 426. Proposed resolution number 426 entitled Resolution encouraging the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Agrarian Reform, Ministry of Trade, Investment, and Ministry of Science and Technology to strengthen the institution of the Science in the regular programs and projects na halalin with industry development. Author of
Timbang, Japan, Apollo Mikhail Matalan, Michael Timbang, Siti Pahagi Uyuyot, Khalid Haji Abdullah, and Basir Uttu.
Mr. Speaker, I move that
we refer proposed resolution 426 jointly to the Committee on Agriculture, Fisheries, and Agrarian Reform, Committee on Trade, Investment and Tourism, and Committee on Science and Technology.
There is a motion to refer proposed resolution number 426 to the Committee on Agriculture, Fisheries and Agrarian Reform, Committee on Trade and Investment and Tourism, Committee on Science and Technology. Municipally, no objection, the same is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, we move to resolutions referred to the committee, starting with committee report number 41, submitted by the Committee on Women, Youth, Children, and Persons with Disabilities in relation to proposed resolution number 319, entitled Resolution Calling on all the ministries, agencies, and offices, including the local government units of the Bangsamoro, to observe, comply, and monitor the implementation of the provisions of Republic Act number 7277, known as the Magna Carta for Persons with Disability, as amended, Mr. Speaker. I move that we adopt committee report number 41. Mr. Speaker, may I request and move to recognize the Committee on Women, Youth, Children, and Persons with Disabilities Vice Chairperson for Youth or representative of the Chair, Mr. Speaker, Member of the Parliament, Hashemi Dilangalen.
Member of Parliament, Hashemi Dilangalen is recognized, representing the Committee on Women and
Persons with Disabilities.
Persons with Disability. MP Dilangalen is recognized. First and foremost, magandang hapon sa ating lahat. Mr. Speaker, the Chairperson of the Committee on Children and Persons with Disabilities, our esteemed colleague, Dr. Ramos,
reason cannot be physically with us today, but she has prepared her speech for the presentation of Committee Report number 41. As a committee member, she has designated me to deliver the speech on her behalf and the committee. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My utmost courtesy to my distinguished colleagues in the Parliament, to our Chief Minister, Ahod Balawag Ibrahim, our distinguished Deputy Chief Ministers, Parliament Speaker, Attorney Pangalian Balindog, Honorable Deputy Speakers, Floor Leader, Deputy Floor Leaders, as well as other officials of our BTA Parliament. My courtesy also to our distinguished guests and audience joining us for our live sessions today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Mr. Speaker, in behalf of our dear colleague, MP Jamila Disiban Ramos, I stand before you as a member of the Committee on Women, Youth, Children, and Persons with Disability, and as the Vice Chairperson of the Subcommittee on Persons with Disabilities. Together, we bring forth these resolutions of great importance that has emerged during our committee's diligent deliberations. This deliberation calls upon all the ministries, agencies, and offices, as well as the local government units of the Bangsamoro, to observe, comply, and closely monitor the implementation of the provisions laid out in Republic Act number 7277, commonly known as the Magna Carta for Persons with Disability, as amended. The essence of this resolution is rooted in the fundamental belief that every individual, regardless of their physical or mental abilities, is an integral part of our society. The Magna Carta for Persons with Disability, as amended by Republic Act number 10524, reaffirms the principle that people with disabilities have equal rights and deserve full support to enhance their well-being, ensure that they are given their rightful place in our society with every chance to contribute their skills, talents, and integration into the mainstream of our society. This legislation serves as a beacon of hope for our PWDs who continuously face challenges aside from discrimination, social exclusion, and unfair judgment and treatment. In the words of our dedicated proponent, MP Don Mustafa Luong, the Magna Carta for persons with disability is really to expand and strengthen the benefit of the persons with disabilities. However, even with this act, they are still treated unfairly up to this day. As representative of the people, it is incumbent upon us to ensure that the promise of this Magna Carta is not just an idea on paper, but a tangible reality in the lives of persons with disabilities. Our unwavering dedication to inclusivity, equality, and justice encompasses every member of our society without exception. And this commitment is precisely what brings us here today. Mr. Speaker, I urge our dear colleagues to support this resolution, for it's through our collective efforts and enforcement of this Magna Carta that we can truly make a difference in the lives of persons with disability. Together, let us champion their cause, leaving no one behind as we march towards a brighter, more inclusive future for the Bangsamoro and our entire nation. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. For a brief description for this resolution calls upon all ministries, agencies, and local government units within the Bangsamoro region to adhere to and oversee the enforcement of Republic Act number 7277, known as the Magna Carta for Persons with Disability, as amended by Republic Act number 10524. It emphasizes the importance of equal employment opportunity and rights for persons with disabilities and underscores the responsibilities of government bodies in monitoring compliance with the law. This resolution aligns with the Bangsamoro Organic Law's commitment to providing basic necessities, equal opportunities, and social justice to all citizens within the region. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to adopt Committee Report number 41, Mr. Speaker, for deliberation.
Report number 41, duly seconded, giving no objection,
Mr. Speaker, I now move to open the period of interpellation and debate, Mr. Speaker.
This is a motion to open the period of interpellation and debate. No objection, Mr.
Speaker, may I move to recognize MP Attorney Arnado.
Member of Parliament, Attorney Arnado, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just have a very brief interpellation for our distinguished sponsor. Under the whereas clause of the proposed resolution, second page, second paragraph, second whereas clause, there is a specific citation on the Bangsamoro Organic Law, and would the distinguished sponsor agree with me that the Bangsamoro Basic Law provides for the Bangsamoro government to establish a special agency, but the clause support for persons with special needs, senior citizens, and disadvantaged groups is not a direct quotation to the law. So, just for purposes of accuracy, would the distinguished sponsor agree with me that this particular phrase, support for persons with special needs, senior citizens and disadvantaged group, is just a title, but that is not really the direct provision of the BOL. So under the BOL, it goes directly to provides that the Bangsamoro government shall establish a special agency. So,
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
so with that, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and we will introduce this amendment in our period of amendment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, may we recognize Member of the Parliament, Balintan ng Patuan. Okay, Mr. Speaker, with this, we move to terminate the period of interpellation and
There is a motion to terminate period of interpellation, duly seconded, there being no objection, the same is adopted.
Mr. Speaker, I move to open the period of amendments, Mr. Speaker.
There is a motion to open the period of amendment, there being no objection, the same is adopted.
May we recognize MP Arnado.
MP Arnaldo is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, just a very brief amendment under the second whereas clause of page 2. That one, section 23. Yes. So I move, Mr. Speaker, that we delete the title Support for Persons with Special Needs, Senior Citizens and Disadvantaged Group, and just go directly to the Bangsamoro Organic Law provides that the Bangsamoro government shall establish a special agency. So that portion from support, support up to groups be deleted, Mr. Speaker.
Support to groups.
Yeah, so section 23, that part, yes. So we go directly, we cite directly the Bangsamoro Organic Law provides that the Bangsamoro government shall. So we delete that portion on the title, Mr. Speaker.
Including the comma after the law?
Yes, yes, Mr. Speaker.
We agree, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, distinguished sponsor. That will be all, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
I now move to terminate the period of amendments, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, a motion to terminate period of amendment, there being no objection, the same is approved.
I move to approve committee report number 41 as amended, Mr. Speaker.
There is a motion to approve committee report number 41 as amended. Will seconded, there being no objection, the same is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Next is committee report number 46, submitted by the Committee on Human Settlements and Development with the Chair, Member of the Parliament, Don Mustafa Loong, Mr. Speaker. In relation to proposed resolution number 264 entitled Resolution Directing the Bangsamoro Planning and Development Authority or BPDA to apprise the Bangsamoro Transition Authority or BTA Parliament on the overall status of the housing program of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in relation to the implementation of the first Bangsamoro Development Plan or BDP, Mr. Speaker. For this, may we recognize Member of the Parliament, Don Mustafa Loong, as Chairperson of the Committee on Human Settlements and Development.
The Chair of the Committee on Human Settlements is recognized for the committee report. Mr. Speaker, we are proud to the Committee on Human Settlements and Development is proud to endorse proposed resolution 264 entitled Resolution Directing the Bangsamoro Planning and Development Authority to apprise the Bangsamoro Transition Authority Parliament on the overall status of the housing program of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in relation to the implementation of the first Bangsamoro Development Plan.
The committee has considered the resolution, Mr. Speaker, and we just had additional whereases, and we have endorsed the entire resolution, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, there appears to be walang interpellators. Mr. Speaker, may I make an omnibus motion to adopt Committee Report number 46 and dispense with the periods of interpellation and debate as well as the period of amendment, Mr. Speaker.
There's a motion, there's an omnibus motion to dispense with the period of interpellation limit, period of amendments, and further move for the approval of Committee Report number 46. Duly seconded, there being no objection, the same is hereby approved.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we now move to unfinished business, starting with proposed resolution number 424, which was tackled yesterday, and now I think we are ready to proceed with the period of amendments, Mr. Speaker. The parliamentary status of this proposed resolution number 424 is that we already terminated the period of interpellation and debate and moved to open the period of amendment, Mr. Speaker.
This is an unfinished business, and the parliament status is the period of amendments.
Period of amendment, Mr. Speaker.
The proponent is recognized, MP Ampatwa.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, and the member of the parliament, Raisa Jajuri. But we already furnished the amendment to the Secretariat yesterday. Yesterday, 424.
The Secretariat, can you flash the proposed amendments to the resolution?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we actually gave. Nasaan na ang Secretariat? 1 minute suspension, Mr. Speaker.
1 minute suspension.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, may we request the Secretariat to please reflect the proposed resolution on the screen, Mr. Speaker.
The Secretariat is directed to pass on the screen the resolution and the proposed amendment. Hanap na?
Mr. Speaker, so the proposed amendment, Mr. Speaker, may we invite MP Jajuri dito. Sila po yan. Walang mic siya.
Thank you, Madam Floor Leader, Mr. Speaker. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Mr. Speaker, considering the discussions yesterday during the period of deliberations. I'm proposing some amendments, Mr. Speaker. And I'd like to ask Mr. Speaker, the proponent, if she's amenable to changing the language this way, particularly first on the title, such that it now reads, Resolution tasking the Office of the Secretary General to print and distribute the priority laws passed by the Parliament, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes, the proponent is recognized. MP Patron.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. With consultations with the government of the day and considering that until now we have yet to pass another law creating our printing office. In the meantime, we can make use of the facilities and the services of our own Office of the Secretary General. So I accept this, Mr. Speaker.
The proposed amendment to the title is accepted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the dispositive portion.
Dispositive portion.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask the proponent if she's also amenable to changing the language so that it now reads, now therefore be it resolved as it is hereby resolved by the Bangsamoro Parliament to direct the Office of the Secretary General of the Parliament to spearhead the printing and distribution of the priority laws passed by the Parliament, Mr. Speaker.
Consistent with the title.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, to make sure that this is consistent with what was already accepted as amendment to the title, maybe we can say that the Bangsamoro Parliament to task the Office of the Secretary General to print and distribute the priority laws passed by the Parliament, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, consistent with the title, I accept.
Yes, consistent with the title. Dapat nga, no, na muna yung body bago yung title. Pero, may question lang presiding. If,
yes.
Di ba ginagawa ito ng Secretary General?
With the presence of the presiding, yesterday there was a long discussion and the explanation is that a part of it is being done now by the Secretariat, but we want that general public...
Why dissemination of the codes that we pass, the laws that we pass? Okay.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to approve proposed resolution number 424, subject to the as amended and subject to style.
There is a motion
to approve.
Resolution number.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, I move that we terminate with the
Yes, terminate the amendments muna.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, there is a motion to terminate the period of amendments. Julius Gandhi, there being no objection, this is approved.
I move to approve proposed resolution 424 as amended and subject to style, Mr. Speaker.
There is a motion to approve proposed resolution number 424 as amended subject to style. Julius Gandhi, there being no objection, this is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, to ensure that we consider this in the Committee on Accounts, may I manifest that all members of the Parliament who are present here today be made a co-author, Mr. Speaker.
There is a motion that all members of the Parliament present should be co-author. There being no objection from the proponent.
No objection, Mr. Speaker.
There being no objection, this is approved.
And the Secretary General is listening.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We move on to proposed resolution number 442, entitled the resolution calling for the end of hostilities against the civilian population of Palestine and allowing for their safe return. to their homeland and the rehabilitation thereof, in relation to proposed resolution number 443, entitled the resolution equally condemning the continuing acts of violence committed by Israel against the people of Palestine and by Hamas, militant group against the civilians of Israel. We have consolidated both resolutions into one, Mr. Speaker, and the parliamentary status is we are in the period of interpellation and debate, Mr. Speaker. But considering that both the principal authors of the proposed resolutions are not around, Mr. Speaker, I move that we terminate with the period of interpellation and debate.
There is a motion to terminate interpellation and debate on the consolidated resolutions.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Duly seconded, there being no objection, the same is hereby approved.
Mr. Speaker, but while we don't have the principal authors on in the plenary today, I still move that we open the period of amendments to give way to proposed amendments, Mr. Speaker, and for this purpose, Member of the Parliament, Raisa Chachuri, will take the floor for and on behalf of the principal authors. I move to open the period of amendments.
There is a motion to open the period of amendments, duly seconded, there being no objection, the same is hereby approved.
I move that we recognize Member of the Parliament Arnado to introduce some proposed amendments, Mr. Speaker.
Member of Parliament Attorney Arnaldo is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May we request the Secretariat to, okay, so the proposed amendment is on the screen. This is already a consolidated resolution of the two resolutions filed earlier. So for the title, we have a proposed amendment that the new title now is Resolution Condemning the Acts of Violence and Collective Punishment Against the People of Palestine and calling for the immediate declaration of unconditional cessation of hostilities between Israel and Hamas and the establishment of a humanitarian corridor for Gaza.
Resolution calling for the end of hostilities against the civilian population. Na-check not ba yun?
Mr. Speaker, 1 minute suspension so that we can facilitate the drafting.
1 minute suspension is granted. Session resumed.
Mr. Speaker, before we tackle the main title, may I request that we flash the last two paragraphs.
Last two paragraphs, the short part there.
So this is the proposed amendment. Resolve further to call on Israel and Hamas to allow the United Nations to facilitate the establishment of a humanitarian corridor that will allow humanitarian actors to provide protection and immediate relief assistance to the people in Gaza.
We accept, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Was accepted.
Thank you, Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And the last proposed amendment is the final paragraph. Resolve finally that a copy of this resolution be furnished to the resident coordinator of the United Nations in the Philippines, the Organization of Islamic Operations in Jeddah, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the embassies to the Philippines, of Israel, and of Palestine.
We accept, Mr. Speaker.
Secretary, take note.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, we move up to the main title. This is our proposed amendment. The title now reads, Resolution Condemning the Acts of Violence and Collective Punishment against the People of Palestine and calling for the immediate declaration of unconditional cessation of hostilities between Israel and Hamas and the establishment of a humanitarian corridor for Gaza.
We accept, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
If not,
that will be all for the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just for the record that we are in this, the Office of the Floor Leader is informed of the submission of Member of the Parliament, Jamila Ramos, of proposed amendments, Mr. Speaker. However, on account of her non-availability today, Mr. Speaker, we cannot introduce the amendments, Mr. Speaker, but we thank MP Ramos for sending in her proposed amendments. With this, I move that we terminate the period of amendments, Mr. Speaker.
Is a motion to terminate period of amendments. There being no objection, the same is approved.
I move that we approve the consolidated resolution 442 and 443 as amended and subject to style, Mr. Speaker.
There is a motion to approve consolidated resolution subject to amendments and subject to style. There being no objection, the same is approved.
Mr. Speaker, the previous presiding officer has made he has intimated to this representation that all members of the Parliament would have to be, and I so move that we be included as co-authors, Mr. Speaker.
All members of the Parliament, absent or not absent?
Absent or not, Mr. Speaker.
Consolidated resolution.
442 and 443.
All members of the Parliament should be co-authors of this consolidated resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We move to Committee Report number 18, submitted by the Committee on Health in relation to proposed resolution number 92, entitled a resolution directing the Committee on Health to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the overall plan of the Ministry of Health on the establishment and upgrading of hospitals, including its budget requirements, Mr. Speaker. We would like to move to recognize the committee chairperson, Dr. Kagin Sinalingin.
The chair of the committee, Dr. MP Kagin Sinalingin Jr. is recognized.
Our Chief Minister, Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speakers, Floor Leader, Deputy Floor Leaders, distinguished colleagues, and all individuals who are present today, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. A wonderful afternoon to all of you. In behalf of all members of the Committee on Health, it is my honor to report back this august body the Committee Report number 18, pertaining to the proposed resolution number 92,
which originally entitled Resolution requiring the Ministry of Health to present to the Parliament an overall plan on the establishment and upgrading of hospitals, providing its indicative budget requirements in order to aid legislation. Mr. Speaker, after a thorough deliberation with active members of the committee, we jointly approved the above-mentioned resolution with amendments. Thus, upon the deliberation, members of the committee has recommended the following amendments. Letter A, the title shall be read as, in quotation, a resolution directing the Committee on Health to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the overall plan of the Ministry of Health on the establishment and upgrading of hospitals, including its budget requirements. Letter B, the resolved clause shall be read as, wherefore, be it resolved by the BTA Parliament, as it is hereby resolved, to direct the Committee on Health to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the overall plan of the Ministry of Health, open close MOH, on the establishment and upgrading of hospitals, including its budget requirements. Mr. Speaker, members of the Committee on Health recognize the relevance of this resolution in furtherance of providing for a comprehensive and integrated health services for the Bangsamoro. Moreover, as unanimously agreed by members, the committee had determined the appropriateness of conducting inquiry in aid of legislation on the subject matter stated therein. In this regard, I would like to express my profound appreciation to the principal author of this resolution and its co-authors, as well as the members of the Committee on Health for their dedication and passion to improve the health system in the Bangsamoro through legislative measures, ensuring that the public's right to health is not forgotten. Mr. Speaker, given the continued importance of hospitals in our lives, establishing and upgrading hospitals have become a critical concern for all. We know the shape of public perception of the performance of the region's health system in order to make healthcare services more accessible, available, affordable, and acceptable to our people. The policies and legislative measures play a vital role. And through this legislative inquiry in aid of legislation, we could develop bills and resolution or any other legislative measures at our disposal that would address issues on health, particularly on hospital concerns. With this, Mr. Speaker, the Committee on Health finds this proposed resolution number 92 its relevance and thus recommends for approval. Pagpalain ng Bangsamoro, sukran katiran, wabillahi tawfiq wal hidayah, wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt Committee Report number 18, Mr. Speaker, as reported.
There is a motion to adopt Committee Report number 18, duly seconded, there being no objection,
Mr. Speaker, I move that we dispense with the period of interpellation and debate and the period of amendment, there being no member of the Parliament who wishes to interpellate, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, a motion to dispense, omnibus motion to dispense with the period of interpellation and the period of amendment, and furthermore for the approval of the Committee Report number 18. There being no objection, the same is by approval.
Mr. Speaker, we continue with Committee Report number 42, submitted by the same Committee on Health, in relation to proposed resolution number 318 entitled Resolution Requesting the Ministry of Health to establish a Food and Drug Administration or FDA regional field office in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, BARM. Mr. Speaker, may we recognize Committee on Health Chairperson MP Dr. Kadil Sinalinding Jr.
The chair of the committee, again, we recognize the chair of the committee, Dr. MP Adil Sinolinding Jr. for the committee report.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Please bear with me because I still have one more report to do after this.
Meron pa?
Meron pang isa, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the members of the Committee on Health, it is my honor to report back to this august body the committee report number 42 pertaining to the proposed resolution number 318, which entitled Resolution requesting the Ministry of Health to establish a Food and Drug Administration, open close, FDA, Regional Field Office in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, BARMM. Mr. Speaker, creation of a Regional Field Office of Food and Drug Administration in our own region is a critical step towards ensuring the safety and well-being of our constituents when it comes to food, medicine, devices, cosmetics, drug products, and equipment, and other consumer goods. I believe that the primary purpose of this bill is to protect public health by regulating and ensuring the production, distribution, and marketing of food and drugs and related products and other items within the region. This will ensure safety, efficacy, and quality of products that enter our local markets. Mr. Speaker, upon consideration of the relevance of this bill, committee members jointly approve it without amendments. Mr. Speaker, establishing an FDA Regional Field Office demonstrates our commitment to the well-being of our people as part of our campaign for moral governance. It shows that we prioritize health and safety of our people above all else. The Bangsamoro FDA Field Office, through the Ministry of Health, we can instill confidence in the quality of our food, drug, materials, and other products, both domestically and internationally sourced. This will further showcase our foods, goods, and other products. Not only they are safe, but perhaps ensure even halal compliance, and that denotes global competitiveness based on the standards required by law. Mr. Speaker, wherefore, premises considered, the Committee on Health find this proposed resolution number 318 relevant, particularly in protecting health and safety of our constituents. Thus, it recommends for approval. Pagpalain Bangsamoro, Sukran Kathiran. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt proposed committee report number 46, Mr. Speaker, for consideration and deliberation.
42.
42, Mr. Speaker.
There is a motion to adopt committee report number 42. The jurisdically, the being lodged on the seal is reversed.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of interpellation and debate.
There is a motion to open the period of interpellation and debate. The being lodged on the seal is reversed.
Mr. Speaker, may we recognize MP Attorney Mary Ann Arnado.
MP Arnaldo is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a very brief clarification to our distinguished sponsor. Mr. Speaker, I just want to know if the Food and Drug Administration is already devolved with the Ministry of Health.
Not sure.
So thank you. Considering that it is not yet devolved, Mr. Speaker, would it be appropriate to direct the resolution to the Department of Health instead of the Ministry of Health?
Mr. Speaker,
the FDA for the Bangsamoro region is still handled by Regions 12 and Regions 9. 9 for the Basuta region and 12 for Maguindanao and part SGA and as well as Lanao del Sur. The proposal that it shall be directed to the Department of Health is appropriate, I believe so, Mr. Speaker. However, it is also good to start on our own, insisting on our rights for a independent and an autonomous Food and Drug Administration, but consistent with the national office in its mandate as well as its regulatory and administrative function. Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, that is very much desirable, but considering that at this point that particular power is not yet fully devolved to our own ministry, so would it be more effective if we direct the call to our Department of Health?
Mr. Speaker, I agree with the proposal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We will introduce the corresponding amendment at the proper time. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize MP Ale Montaha-Baba.
MP Al-Baba is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, Madam Floor Leader. I would like to concentrate on the title of the resolution. A resolution requesting the Ministry of Health to establish a Food and Drug Administration, FDA, Regional Field Office. So if you're using the word Regional Field Office, does it mean that the office that we are about to establish is attached with the NFA Central Office in Manila?
Yes,
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. I believe so.
Now, if it is a following the statement of MP Arnato, if it is a devolution, talking of devolution, it is for the matter the NFA head office that will pass this resolution. Maybe they can create or establish a regional office here. But to my understanding, Mr. Speaker, we are creating our own national Food and Drug Administration. See, no need, I think there is no need for the National Food, the Food and Drug Administration in Manila to devolve that authority, because pursuant to the Public Act 11054, we can create our own food and drug office administration. We can create our own without the intervention of the National Health Office. Pwede tayo mag-type ng sarili natin food and drug. Then, kasi nakalagay dito, Regional Field Office. If you're going to include these three words in the title of the resolution, it is clearly means that it is a regional office controlled, administered, supervised by the Food and Drug Administration in Manila.
So, Mr. Speaker, I agree with the observation.
So therefore, if you agree, Mr. Speaker, I think I would like to propose that we create our own without NFA, because the conduct of their, their operation is different, almost 90% different from our, the intention of this. Why? Because the Food and Drug Administration in Manila don't care. They do not care whether that food being manufactured in all over the Philippines is haram, that contains lard, that contains baboy oil. Wala silang pakialam dun. For our people, dito sa atin sa Bangsamoro homeland, we have to be very strict in creating this office that will concentrate on regulating manufacturing foods in accordance with the Islamic concept. Kailangan halal yan. So bakit pa tayo magiging regional field office ng Manila? When in fact, we are empowered, as I said, by virtue of RA 11054 to create this office. Hindi naman masyadong magastos yan. If we can appropriate funding for sports development, for this and that, why not appropriate funding for the benefit of our people? Because, for the record, Mr. Speaker, according to Islamic, ulama, yung mga ulama, if you eat haram, lahat ng pagsamba mo within 40 days is not accepted. You see? Importante itong pagkain ito para sa ating pananampalataya. That's I'm saying we differ. Because sila, they don't care whether there is a haram content of the food they manufacture outside barn. But tayo, no. We have to adhere to Islamic requirement. Meaning, kung halimbawa, patatayuin natin ito, we are going to, in fact, I'm very supportive of this. Because I have even written a book about this halal food when I was in Malaysia. And Mr. Speaker, I think I would like to propose to the proponent, if it is okay, that instead of creating a regional field office by the National Food Authority in Manila, we create our own Food and Drug Administration that will be given the power to regulate, to supervise, to assure our people that all the foods entering Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao manufactured, sold in our territory is halal.
Accepted, Mr. Speaker. Good. Accepted.
Thank you very much for accepting my proposal. So therefore, I think we have to delete the word regional field office in the title, Mr. Speaker.
Period of amendments na? Wala pang period of amendments.
Hindi nga, that is why it's only my comment, because he is accepting my proposal. But I think we have to, no? In the period of amendment, maybe I can start again. I can return and propose this amendment, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, I move to terminate the period of interpellation and debate.
There is a motion to terminate interpellation and debate. Duly seconded, there being no objection, the same is approved.
Mr. Speaker,
May amendment, MP.
yes, Mr. Speaker, but I think listening to the deliberation, Mr. Speaker, the first question by MP Arnado was about creation or establishment of a regional office, but when MP Babaw came in to deliberate, Mr. Speaker, he disagrees with the idea of creating an FBA regional office, Mr. Speaker. So I think there's a disconnect. Yes, Mr. Speaker. If the body...
1 minute suspension. Pag-usap na lang.
Mr. Speaker, we now move to the, we are in the period of amendments. Mr. Speaker, may we recognize MP Hernando?
Open the MP Parliament. MP Hernando is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just to, starting from the title. Hindi, sorry. Just for the reference to Ministry of Health, Mr. Speaker, we move that we change it to Department of Health. So for example, under the last two paragraphs, now therefore, be it resolved as it is hereby resolved to request the Department of Health to establish an FDA regional office in the MAR.
Proponent, accept or not?
Accepted, Mr. Speaker.
Take note, Secretary.
And then moving to the title, to be consistent with that amendment, Mr. Speaker, we propose that again the title should read Resolution requesting the Department of Health to establish a Food and Drug Administration regional office in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao.
Accepted, Mr. Speaker.
Take note.
That would be all, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, may we recognize MP Romeo Sen?
MP University is recognized.
And that was the first paragraph. Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. In addition to the proposed amendment, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to propose an amendment as amended resolution requesting in the title of the chair. And Mr. Speaker, as amended resolution requesting the Department of the Health to establish a Food and Drug Administration regional field office in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim pending the creations of the Food and Drug Administration by the Bangsamoro Autonomous Council. Pending of the establishment.
Because accepted. Deal or no deal? Kailangan pang ilagay ba yun? Is it necessary that it be put in the resolution?
1 minute suspension.
1 minute suspension.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will turn my proposed amendment.
Thank you very much.
With this, Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve Committee Report number 42 as amended, Mr. Speaker. I move to close the period of amendments, Mr. Speaker.
There is a motion to close the period of amendment. There being no objection, the same is approved.
I move to approve Committee Report number 42 as amended, Mr. Speaker.
There is a motion to approve Committee number 42 as amended. Judicially, there being no objection, the same is approved.
Next, Mr. Speaker, is Committee Report number 43, submitted still by the Committee on Health in relation to proposed resolution number 326 entitled Resolution Urging the Ministry of Health to conduct awareness campaign on the health risks associated with the use and consumption of betel nut or mama in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao BARM. May we recognize Chairperson of the Committee on Health, Member of the Parliament, Dr. Catherine Sinulindin Jr.
The person of the Committee on Health, MP Dr. Sinulindin is recognized.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Again, to the honorable members of this committee, headed by our Speaker, the Deputy Speakers, the floor leaders, and our distinguished colleagues, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. On behalf of the members of the Committee on Health, it is my honor to report back to you, to the august body, the Committee Report number 43, pertaining to the proposed resolution number 326, with the title Resolution Urging the Ministry of Health to conduct awareness campaign on the health risks associated with the use and consumption of betel nut or mama in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. With this, Mr. Speaker, I would like to commend the members of the Committee on Health, the proponent of this resolution, MP Engineer Don Mustafa Loong, and all the co-authors with this proposed resolution. Let it be known that mama is being practiced, the chewing of the betel nut, not only by the tribal people of the north, but the Muslim communities as well. But many of us do not know the health risks associated with betel chewing. It has an active ingredient called arecolin, wherein it is categorized as Group A carcinogen by the International Agency for Cancer Research. Not only the betel nut, but also the chewing of tobacco associated with it. And we all know that tobacco contains nicotine, and this nicotine is an addictive substance. That's why many of our people, once they started chewing betel nut with tobacco, they will continue doing so, and it is very hard to resist. With this, Mr. Speaker, because of the health risk posed by the chewing of mama, the betel nut with the combination of tobacco, it has a high risk to have and acquire cancers of the oral cavity, including our pancreas and our esophagus. That's why we cannot enforce prohibition of chewing, but as the resolution proposed, we can conduct an extensive awareness campaign so that the young generation or those who have not yet tried chewing betel nut or mama may have a second thought in doing this. Mr. Speaker, just like what I've said, since it has an importance in terms of health, the safety of our people, and the possible reduction of risk in acquiring many forms of cancer from our oral cavity to other parts of our body, I commend the author and the co-authors
of this resolution. And with that, the Committee on Health adopts the resolution without amendments on the committee level. Mr. Speaker, this is all I can say about this proposed resolution, and we thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt Committee Report number 43. Mr. Speaker.
Motion to adopt Committee Report number 43. Julius Candid, no objection, Mr.
I move to open the period of interpellation and debate, Mr.
There's a
Speaker.
motion to open a period of interpellation and debate. Julius Candid, hearing no objection, Mr.
May we recognize MP Abdullah Hashim.
MP Abdullah Hashim is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, for those who do not know, my mother is a Maranao, Mr. Speaker, and I have a lot to know about the culture of the Maranaos, but I do know that not only the Maranaos, but specifically the Maranaos, it is part of the culture to chew the so-called betel nut. Mama. And although I'm not aware of any studies in our area, it is not, I'm not familiar of any case that there are many cancer patients in Lanao, for example. But of course, this is not based on studies, just based on observation, which is not, of course, we don't know, it's not necessarily accurate. But I would just like to point this out because these kinds of resolution can sometimes perhaps, the culture of our people. So at least I can have a voice, give a voice for our constituents, that this is a part of the culture and it is a common sort of practice for the Maranaos. Now, Mr. Speaker, my question is it the health risk that has been mentioned, in a study, does it come out of the mixture of the betel nut and the tobacco, or is it only for the betel nut as well as a mixture?
The betel nut poses already about 7% higher risk for developing cancer of the oral mucosa because it is considered an irritant. It's a substance that can irritate our oral mucosa, causing fibrosis. And it is also a substance that may trigger, because of the constant irritation, some histological changes in our oral mucosa. And it's been regarded an established fact that although not all oral cancers are caused by betel nut chewing, but it poses a higher risk. For the second question, Mr. Speaker, with a combination of tobacco, as I have mentioned earlier, that tobacco contains nicotine, and that nicotine is addictive. And that prevents a person to stop immediately because of the desire of our body to want and to continue having that kind of substance because of the pleasurable effect that it causes to our system. And it affects our mind, it affects our body systems because of the nicotine. So the question of our honorable gentleman from Maguindanao, the betel nut itself poses already the danger. And coupled with the nicotine that you cannot easily stop the habit, that is why it becomes part of our culture and part of our tradition. But about the culture, Mr. Speaker, I am not here to destroy what is being practiced by so many people. But my obligation, as well as the committee, is to inform the public of the health risk. That is all, Mr. Speaker. For those who wanted to do and continually practicing that, that is their choice. But as a health practitioner and as a chair of the committee with all my honorable members, it is our duty and obligation to inform the public through this resolution of the health risks associated with mama chewing. Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I asked the distinction between the two because, as I am aware, Mr. Speaker, not all who chew betel nut mix it with the tobacco. And for the record, Mr. Speaker, even myself, I subscribe to the sayings of some of the scholars, especially the major scholars. They regard tobacco as forbidden in Islam. Yes, but there are some who have a different opinion, but this is what I subscribe to. So I understand the harms of the tobacco. I'm just trying to point out that we have a significant part of the Bangsamoro who indulges in the betel nut chewing as part of the culture already, Mr. Speaker. But I support that any, as long as there is studies, actual studies on any health risk, I support that we make aware the public on any type of health risk in any type of food or etc., drinks, etc. Mr. Speaker. That will be all, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
May reservation din ako dito sa mama. Kasi yung mga nagmamama noon, mas matagal na bubuhay sa amin sa Lanao. Especially yung sinasabi ni MP Abdul Rasim, in which he came from, Tugaya, Madamba, hanggang Kuwalas, nagmamama yung mga tao dyan. Umabot sila ng mga 80 plus ang life. Hindi naman sila nagkakansel. I don't know the medical findings or medical research of that. Pero sa mga matatanda kasi noon, parang gamot yung mama eh. Ang antioxidant, ang matatanda noon. Lalo na pag may kasamang apog. Nasabi namin na apog. Oo, ginagamit eh. Malit ako, kumakain din ako niyan eh. Kaya hanggang buhay pa ako. Oo.
Mr. Speaker, actually I can agree with you because my grandfather died at the age of 90 and he is a betel nut chewer and also mixed with tobacco, but it has been published by the International Agency for Cancer Research that betel nut itself is classified as group 1 carcinogen, which means it is already established fact that betel nut is carcinogenic. Yun na po, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, may we recognize?
Yes, from leader.
MP Babaw.
Yes, MP Alimut Davao was recognized.
Well, actually, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, Madam President. Kasi I just want to support yung statement ni MP Asim. Sabagat, at my age now, since my childhood days in my hometown of Bayang, the hometown also of the presiding officer, about 60 or 70% of our people nagmamama. But the resolution of MP Sinulindi identified only one item of the 4. Yung nagnanana sa atin, kambama. I am going to use the word kambama. Eh, kasama na dyan yung mamaan. We call it mamaan. That is the betel nut. Namat. Yung dahon. And then yung tabako. Ang apog. 4 of them. Yan. Binimix siya ng mga matatanda. I saw also in my 2 eyes in Sulu. Our people also in Tawi-Tawi and Basilan, nagnananga sila, no?
And to my observation, Mr. Speaker, as you have also mentioned earlier, makikita mo sa bayan, sa Bulunto, sa Taraka, matatanda, tumanda na, nagnganganga. So, I would like to contradict that belief that it's really a health risky. No. Nanay ko, tatay ko, lola ko, lolo ko, lahat, nagnganganga. Wala namang risk. In fact, sila na, pag panahon na hindi sila nakanganga, inuutosan pa ako ng nanay ko kumuha ka ng namat doon. Akitin mo yung puno ng You see, dahil katulad siguro sinasabi ni Dr. Sinulunding na addicted dahil doon sa tabako. So, but at least, I beg to disagree that it's risky to our health. No. I beg to disagree. Oh. So, I am now, Mr. Speaker, registering officially my objection to the passage of this resolution. Why? Official. Yes. You know what? Let me support my position, Mr. Speaker. We have to admit that people in the barangay, especially yung mga nakaupo dyan sa tabi-tabi, laging uminit ang ulo ko, even in public gatherings. Binitira tayo sa farm. Tapos pag nakapagsalita ako, when given the chance to deliver a speech, nagtuturn around yung action nila sa akin. Meron pa nga isang mayor kamag-anak pa natin dito sa Balabagan. Dapat i-abolish niya. Nagsisisi ako bakit sinuportahan ng farm. Oh. Tapos when I told her, have you implemented the 100 million pesos given to you by BAN yearly? Tahimik na siya. In other words, nasisira tayo doon sa barangay. Ang image, the credibility of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao is at stake, Mr. Speaker. Idagdag mo pa itong nanganganga. Thousands and thousands of them, bibiray tayo. Kung talagang walang nagawa itong mga impi na ito, walang nagawa itong farm kung di ipagbawal ang pagnanganga. So, officially, Mr. Speaker, I am registering my objection to the passage of this resolution.
Bangnet, Mr. Speaker, may I speak? May I be recognized? 2 minutes. 2 minutes suspension.
To give time to other members of the Parliament who are also not around, Mr. Speaker, may I move that we defer consideration of Committee Report number 43.
Mr. Speaker, before we act on that, before we rule, just for the record, Mr. Speaker, that we would like to emphasize that we do not prohibit our brothers or our co-Bangsamoro people to do the practice. We are only working on the increased awareness. It is still their decision whether to chew or not, to chew the betel nut with namat, with apple, or with tobacco, and that will be entirely their decision. That is only the purpose of this resolution, Mr. Speaker, for health reasons and for the benefit of public safety. Mr. Speaker.
Okay, thank you. There is a motion to declare consideration of committee report number 43, duly seconded, and being no objection, this is hereby approved.
Mr. Speaker, the final committee report, Mr. Speaker. Committee report number 48, a copy of it has been distributed to members of the Parliament in relation to Bangsamoro Transition Authority Bill number 31, entitled An Act Creating the Bangsamoro Regional... Mr. Speaker, suspension.
2 minutes suspension.
Committee Chair of the Committee on Basic Higher and Technical Education, Member of the Parliament, Eddie Ari.
The Chair of the Committee on Basic Higher Education, MP Elian is recognized for his committee report. Yes, you are recognized.
Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. My courtesy and respect to Chief Minister Al-Akhir Balawak Ibrahim Al-Hajj, Speaker Pangalian Balindo, our presiding officer, esteemed colleagues in the Bangsamoro Parliament, Secretary General Rabi Al-Akhir, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu, and a peaceful afternoon to all. The Committee on Basic, Higher and Technical Education, Committee on Amendments, Revision and Codification of Laws, and Committee on Finance, Budget and Management, to which were referred BTA Bill number 31, introduced by the government of the day, an act creating the Bangsamoro Regional Institute for Higher Islamic Studies, repealing Muslim Mindanao Autonomy Act number 164, otherwise known as the Regional Madrasa Graduate Education Act of 2003, providing funds therefor and for other purposes. Have considered the same and recommend its approval with amendments. The committee report before us represents a significant milestone in our collective efforts to address the educational needs of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, particularly in the realm of Islamic studies, to promote and enhance our identity as a people. Through this bill, we will be creating an educational platform that fosters academic excellence, cultural understanding, and interfaith dialogue. The bill is not only an endeavor to repeal the outdated Muslim Mindanao Autonomy Act number 164, but also a testament to our strong commitment to modernize and strengthen the region's educational landscape. In order to solicit expert opinions, perspectives, and valuable insights on the bill, the Committee on Basic, Higher and Technical Education, CBHTE, initiated a public call for position papers through the BTA website and online platforms to maximize participation. The committee received 12 position papers from various stakeholders and experts as of August 12, 2023. Aside from the public call for position papers, the CBHTE conducted 2 public consultations in August 2023. The first public consultation, held on August 7, 2023 in Quezon City, was attended by 125 participants, 35 of whom served as resource persons from government and non-government organizations, CSOs, and academia. The second public consultation was conducted on August 10, 2023 in Davao City. There were 192 participants, 45 of whom served as resource persons. In the committee deliberations of the bill, the position papers and results of the public consultations were consensuously considered. Mr. Speaker, I commend the esteemed vice chairpersons and members of the committee for their meticulous analysis and thoughtful amendments presented in the report. BTA Bill number 31 encompasses a wide array of provisions that are instrumental in achieving the envisioned goals of the Bangsamoro Institute for Higher Islamic Studies, BHIS in short. It emphasizes the development of a comprehensive curriculum, the promotion of instruction, advanced studies, research, extension service, scholarship opportunities, and the cultivation of an inclusive and intellectually vibrant environment within the institution. These amendments, Mr. Speaker, are necessary to refine and augment the original provision of the bill. These amendments primarily focus on ensuring transparency, accountability, and the efficient utilization of allocated funds for the Institute's operations. With these amendments, we can bolster the effectiveness of the bill and maximize the potential of BHIS in shaping the future of Islamic education in the Bangsamoro region. As we deliberate on this crucial piece of legislation, let us remember the profound impact it will have on the lives, aspirations, and identity of the people of the Bangsamoro region. With this bill, we demonstrate our unwavering commitment to promote educational opportunities, fostering cultural appreciation, and nurturing a spirit of inclusivity and diversity. Mr. Speaker, allow me to emphasize the importance of BTA Bill number 31 with the statement from Minister Muhammad Iqbal of the Ministry of Basic, Higher and Technical Education, and I quote, "Now is the time for the Bangsamoro government to promote and institutionalize an educational institution capable of providing quality education at par with secular education, which would be representative of all religions as Muslims." Unquote. In my talk with him on October 13, 2023, he asked me if when can the Committee on Basic, Higher and Technical Education present its committee report to the plenary. I replied to him, "Inshallah, it will be in the first week session of this month." Then he told me, "You know, Prof, the BHIS bill is identified with me, and it is very important to me." Unquote. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, I appeal to my esteemed colleagues in this august body to kindly adopt the committee report and the proposed amendments as we embark on this momentous deliberation. Let us engage in constructive dialogue, drawing upon our collective wisdom and expertise to ensure that the Bangsamoro Institute for Higher Islamic Studies become a beacon of knowledge, enlightenment, and harmony. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for providing me with this opportunity to present the committee report to this august body. I look forward to fruitful discussions and collaborative efforts in shaping a brighter future for the Bangsamoro. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Shukran, maraming salamat. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt Committee Report number 46 for consideration, Mr. Speaker.
There is a motion to adopt Committee Report number 46.
Sorry, 48, Mr. Speaker.
48, no? Julius Khalid, there being no objection, the same is hereby approved.
Mr. Speaker, may we invite members of the Parliament to please utilize the interpellation request form so that when we move on to the period of interpellation on Monday, inshallah, we have already a list of all interpellations, Mr. Speaker. Remember that we have already given you copies of the committee report, and we hope that we receive your interpellation request forms before Monday so we can also prepare, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, so with this member of the Parliament, Ampatuan, who is a member of the committee but was not able to attend the meetings, Mr. Speaker, will interpellate. With this, Mr. Speaker, we move to adjourn. I move to adjourn the session, Mr. Speaker, until Monday, October 23, Mr. Speaker, at 1 o'clock p.m.
Yes, motion to adjourn until October 23 at 1 in the afternoon. No objection, approved.
Thank you. Thank you.